Meine Damen und Herren, ich habe es in meiner Europarede in Prag Ende August noch einmal deutlich gemacht. Die 6 Staaten des westlichen Balkans gehören in die Europäische Union. Sie sind Teil Europas und Teil der europäischen Familie. Deswegen setze ich mich für die Erweiterung der Europäischen Union um die Staaten des Westbalkans ein. Für den Erfolg dieser EU-Erweiterung ist der sogenannte Berlin-Prozess sehr wichtig. Ich freue mich daher sehr, dass ich heute die Vertreterinnen und Vertreter der teilnehmenden Staaten und Institutionen des Berlin-Prozesses hier begrüßen konnte. Besonders freue ich mich, dass alle Ministerpräsidenten der Staaten des westlichen Balkans nach Berlin gekommen sind. Der Berlin-Prozess findet immerhin schon seit 2014 nun zum 3. Mal unter deutscher Gastgeberschaft statt. Es freut mich, dass wir heute Albanien mit Ministerpräsident Edi Rama als nächsten Gastgeber gewinnen konnten und dass er und die Präsidentin der Europäischen Kommission Ursula von der Leyen hier gemeinsam mit mir die Ergebnisse des Gipfels präsentieren. Die Entwicklung des westlichen Balkans und dessen Integration in die Europäische Union ist mir ein zentrales Anliegen. Das ist umso wichtiger vor dem Hintergrund des brutalen Angriffskriegs Russlands gegen die Ukraine. Dafür sind Reformen nötig, in der EU selbst, aber vor allem auch in der Region, insbesondere was die Rechtsstaatlichkeit und Umweltstandards angeht. Und dafür ist es notwendig, regionale Kooperationen voranzubringen und zu lange schwelende Konfliktthemen zwischen den 6 Ländern beizulegen. Verbesserte regionale Kooperation der Länder des westlichen Balkans ist ein Schlüssel zur Beschleunigung des EU-Beitrittsprozesses. Der Berlin-Prozess leistet dazu seit 2014 einen ganz wichtigen Beitrag. Er hat seitdem die Verbindung in der Region auf allen Ebenen gefördert, mit neuen Straßen und Energiekonnektoren, aber er hat auch die Menschen zusammengebracht. Damit hat er die Wirtschaft gestärkt und ganz konkret zur Verbesserung der guten nachbarschaftlichen Beziehungen und zur Versöhnung in der Region beigetragen. Sehr konkret ging es heute um die Schaffung eines gemeinsamen regionalen Marktes, der mit den EU-Regeln kompatibel ist und alle Länder der Region gleichermaßen einbindet. Ich gratuliere den Staaten des westlichen Balkans, dass es ihnen unter Moderation des Regionalen Kooperationsrates und der Bundesregierung gelungen ist, 3 Mobilitätsabkommen zu vereinbaren und heute zu unterzeichnen. Das ist ein großer Erfolg für alle Bürgerinnen und Bürger der Region. Und es zeigt, dass die 6 Westbalkanstaaten es ernst meinen, sich auch bei der regionalen Kooperation auf die EU zuzubewegen. Denn im europäischen Projekt geht es und ging es immer schon darum, gemeinsam voranzuschreiten. Mit den 3 jetzt unterzeichneten neuen Abkommen wird es möglich, dass die Bürgerinnen und Bürger der Region mit Personalausweisen reisen können. Außerdem erkennen die Staaten des westlichen Balkans untereinander akademische und Berufsabschlüsse an. Es sind diese ganz konkreten Schritte, die das Leben der oder des Einzelnen verbessern und die Region enger zusammenführen. Ein weiteres Beispiel möchte ich herausgreifen. Zur Energie haben sich die Teilnehmerinnen und Teilnehmer auf eine wichtige Erklärung geeinigt. Die Westbalkanstaaten verpflichten sich daran zu enger Zusammenarbeit für mehr Energiesicherheit und die Vereinbarung von Klimaschutzmaßnahmen zur Erzielung des 2030er Ziels. Wir, die übrigen Teilnehmer des Berlin-Prozesses, unterstützen die Westbalkanstaaten kurz- und langfristig, um in dieser Energiekrise zu bestehen und sich auf erneuerbare Energien für die Zukunft zu fokussieren. Auch Deutschland trägt hierzu maßgeblich über die Entwicklungsbank KfW bei. Kurzfristig durch die Bereitschaft zu Krediten in Höhe von bis zu 500 Millionen € in der akuten Energiekrise, mittelfristig bis 2030 durch Unterstützung für die Energiewende der Westbalkanländer mit bis zu 1 Milliarde €. Bei allen genannten Themen müssen wir weiter und vor allem immer enger zusammenarbeiten. Dieser Gipfel zeigt mir, dass der Wille zur Zusammenarbeit vorhanden ist. Deutschland wird diesen Prozess weiter stark fördern und ich kann mir gut vorstellen, auch in der Zukunft wieder Gastgeber eines solchen Gipfels zu sein. Und auch die Europäische Union unterstützt diesen Prozess, insbesondere mit der Arbeit der Europäischen Kommission. Dafür gilt ihr unser ganz besonderer Dank. Und damit möchte ich dann auch gleich übergeben und das Wort der Kommissionspräsidentin Ursula von der Leyen übergeben. bevor dann der nächste Gastgeber, Edi Rama, das Wort erhält. Ursula, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Indeed, we had a very good meeting today, and with Albania in the driving seat for next year, I know that the Berlin process continues to be in very good hands. So our aim is very clear. It's the aim to bring our Western Balkan partners as close as possible, as fast as possible. And here we have two tracks. One track of work is, of course, the accession process. There we have made good progress. The Commission has put enlargement back on the table from the very first day of my mandate. We have been securing agreement on a new enlargement methodology that opened up ways not only to deblock decisions, that was very important, but it also brought back credibility to the whole process. Then we have put on the table a substantive economic and investment plan. It brings 30 billion euros of investment to the region, which is overall approximately 1/3 of the GDP of the whole region. In addition, last year we had the first intergovernmental conference. We had intergovernmental conference with Montenegro. We opened one cluster with Serbia, and this year we were very happy that we finally managed to have the first intergovernmental conference with Albania and North Macedonia, started the screening process, and we made the proposal to Council to give Bosnia and Herzegovina candidate status. I must say this progress, which is good progress, dear Edi Rama, was possible because of the progress made in the Western Balkan countries themselves, so it's your success. Indeed, a second track of action is the Berlin process. And here the goal is to deepen our economic integration. And yes, we are facing manifold challenges. Most and foremost, Russia's invasion of Ukraine that marks a geopolitical shift on our continent. But the longer the Russian war lasts, the more determined we are to stand together and to withstand. We know that our investments in the Western Balkans are not only important for a conducive business environment, this is also the case, but that these investments are investments for peace, stability, and prosperity of Europe as a whole. Against this backdrop, indeed, we discussed in depth the knock-on effects of the Russian war on energy, and therefore today's declaration on energy security and the green agenda for the Western Balkans mark a very important step. As the Chancellor already said, we are united in the goal of climate neutrality by 2050 and our climate targets by 2030. Now, if we look at the immediate crisis, it's important that we synchronize our steps. We are in an energy community. Therefore, in the short term, this means for all of us diversification of energy sources, the reduction of our dependency on Russian fossil fuels, and to keep energy prices in check with joint action. But we are also aware of the fact that unprecedented crises demand or need unprecedented steps and action, and therefore I am pleased to announce that the Commission will put forward a substantial energy support package. For the Western Balkans, it's 1 billion euros in grants, and it has two different parts. The first part is 500 million euros in grants as a very immediate financial support for the 6 Western Balkan countries to put them in a position for the very short term to support vulnerable households and vulnerable businesses. This budget support will be adopted in December and available in January, in other words, very short term. The second part, the other 500 million euros in grants, will be dedicated to investments in energy infrastructure. So these are mainly investments in gas and electricity interconnectors to really have a common grid and interconnection in the region with the European Union. Very important is the emphasis on investments on renewable energy, because this gives us independence, it's clean energy, and it creates good jobs at home, and of course energy efficiency measures. In addition, we will strengthen the security of supply by improving and facilitating the access in each other's energy pipelines and storages. This is for the emergency. In case that somebody is in trouble, there is solidarity from all of us. And the European Union and the Western Balkans will harmonize their crisis and emergency plans and measures in a spirit of solidarity and increased mutual resilience. Finally, we are also inviting our partners from the Western Balkans to join us in our European attempt to have a joint procurement platform, so really to develop the strong market power we have if we stick together. And this brings me to the second point, the regional integration. That's the development of the common regional market. It is for us a very important stepping stone towards the EU single market. And indeed, in this regard, I welcome today's signature of the 3 very important agreements. The freedom of movement is key to both. It's key to the development of the common regional market, of course, but it's also key to the integration of the Western Balkan in the European single market. It's about the people. Be it students, be it professionals, they will bring the region forward. And therefore, the agreement is so important for 18 million people to move freely within the region. Professionals can tap their full potential regardless of where they work. And the professional qualifications, be it of skilled workers, students, researchers, medical doctors, dentists or architects, they will all be recognized throughout the Western Balkans. Very important is also that the national ID cards will be accepted at every border. So these measures will not only boost intra-regional travel in the Western Balkans, but it will also strengthen personal and cultural bonds between the people of the region. And in the very end, it's always the same good old story that has always been at the heart of the European project. It's enhanced cooperation and harmonization that bring peace and prosperity to all. So we should use every opportunity to get closer with our best Western Balkan friends, and thank you once more for a very good Berlin process.
Thank you very much, and I must say that everyone from the region was very pleased to be here today in Berlin, 8 years after the Berlin process was launched in this very same building. And I must also say that Angela Merkel was proven right, because if today we have a united region in a very complicated moment of history for all Europe and for the whole Euro-Atlantic community, the public secret is the Berlin process. When we gathered here for the first time, we hadn't met each other for centuries. And nowadays, this is very, very much what we all like to do. And I would like to really thank wholeheartedly Chancellor Scholz for his engagement, for the great hospitality, for the outstanding German bread, and of course, last but not least, for trusting Albania and myself to host the next Berlin Process Summit in our wonderful country. And I very much hope that what was discussed today and taken carefully in the notes of the Chancellery will see progress in the next summit in Tirana, starting from the energy crisis, where we feel that we are not left aside, we are not alone, because just a few days ago the President of the European Commission Ursula made a tour in the Balkans, and she didn't just bring nice words of solidarity, but also very important financial support, important to start with, not to end with, of course. And in the same time, we are looking forward to see progress in the interconnectivity. As the Chancellor pointed out very, very clearly, it's not about connecting our own infrastructure, highways in our countries, but it's about connecting the region and Europe with the region and vice versa. We hope to see progress in the digital sphere, because these were the three main pillars of the Berlin process since day one: energy, interconnectivity and digital. But today we are also facing the challenge of cybersecurity, and it was discussed. And of course we want to see things move in the right direction for our young people. We have raised again the issue of how we can faster integrate with the European higher education system, our universities, and also on how we can have more presence from Germany and other EU well-developed countries through their private sector and not just public funding. To end with my, I hope, short introduction, I want to say that it's very important what we signed today. I cannot prevent myself to underline that these agreements were three agreements that we were looking forward since 2 or 3 years. They were blocked. The Chancellor, his team, really worked very hard together with our people to convince everyone to sign. And it's a great, great news that we had today 3 important signatures that we already had in the Open Balkan framework. So it's very important that now everyone is included in this framework of the 3 agreements. Of course, sounds a bit weird or a bit alienating for the people of Kosovo, that while they made another step through the government to sign this free movement with ID cards, can't yet move freely as everyone else in the region when it comes to the European Union. And I very much hope that this will be solved sooner more than later. So looking forward to host everyone next year in Tirana, and being very, very happy that we will host the Chancellor and others next month in Tirana again. We were laughing a bit because everyone was talking about becoming a hub of energy, but apparently Tirana is becoming a hub of summits.
Thank you very much. We have time for 2 short questions.
Elia Zotka, televizioni shqiptar Klan. Po zgjedh si kancelari të flas në gjuhën time. Një pyetje të përbashkët për kancelarin dhe presidenten. Sot u nënshkrua një marrëveshje për lehtësimin e punësimit për profesionistët brenda rajonit Ballkanit, por duket se një problem i madh i vendeve Ballkanit është që profesionistët e shohin të ardhmen në Bashkimin Evropian, në mënyrë të veçantë në Shqipëri, mjekët e shohin të ardhmen në Gjermani. Kryeministrin Rama e kemi dëgjuar shpesh të kërkoj nga vendet e Bashkimit Evropian që t'i kthehet mbrapsh gjithë ky shpenzim që bën me taksat qeveria shqiptare, shteti shqiptar për kualifikimin e tyre, për të pasur më pas edhe ne një mundësi që të marrim mbrapsh diçka. A ka një mënyrë, një mekanizëm për të bërë kjo dhe zoti Rama, një përgjigje të shkurtër për reagimin që ka pasur sot zëdhënësja e qeverisë britanike pas deklaratave tuaja ditën e djeshme. Si e shikoni?
Will you start? Shall I? The free movement of labor is one of the main the free movement of labor is one of the main advantages of the European Union. So all that are going to join the Union are willing to accept this concept of free movement of labor, which we have now for more than 400 million people, and if you look to the workforce, 220 million. And if you look at it, it works more or less quite well. Not because of the movement to some countries, but if you go to the details, you see that it is very easy for young people and for all the others just to take the decision to do it for some years in another country. And doing this and going back is something that is enlarging the experiences and the advantages of many, many people. And so I'm very sure that free movement of labor is a very good concept for all of us. Yes, you are right saying that brain drain is a problem for countries looking at the different wages you have in the member states of the European Union, and this is even so for all those countries that are already member. But if you look to it, you see many of them going back later in their lives, and then the country is profiting from the experiences that they reached abroad. And if you look, for instance, to Germany, you will find many Germans all over Europe doing their jobs, going there for 5 years, for 10 years, for 15 years, sometimes going back, sometimes not. So this is something which is, in a way, already something that works for all. The other question is, what can we do that people like to stay in their country? And this is, the only answer of this is hope. If we are making it very good in developing the countries, creating a better economic atmosphere, making feasible that good jobs and good future is feasible in all the member states of the European Union and those countries that are willing to join the Union, I think this is the best answer to this problem.
So indeed, if you look over time for free movement of labor, and the Chancellor has already said how beneficial it is for all sides, that you see we have had this process of partial brain drain in any country that was in the accession process. And the closer you come to accession, the less strong this effect is. The solution is in raising the living standards. That's our common goal. But they are also below that one because this takes time. And this is, of course, for families, for example, in the Western Balkans who want to keep their young people close to them, a difficult question if you see the time dimension. There are quite good examples where you have agreements cross-border, for example, for medical doctors, to have an exchange for a few years and then to come back and to deliver on the experience that is gained. And there are many very good examples for that, so this is something we can learn on. And as you, Prime Minister, raised the question of universities and cooperation, and of course in universities are, for example, also medical faculties. This might be a topic that we should develop in depth. Also, for example, Erasmus, so the movement of students within the Western Balkans and the European Union. We have started work on that, but it could be a very interesting point and deliverable for the Western Balkans Summit to come with solutions and to come with proposals on this, for you, so important question.
Thank you. I'm not aware what the spokesman of the British government said today, but I think that this country here is a great example that Britain and the British government should look into. Germany had the same problem, similar, some years ago, when with the big wave of the refugee crisis also people from our region and also people from Albania joined. And I never heard any German politician, let alone government minister, talk about invasion. And I never heard any German politician, let alone government minister or interior minister, talk about Albanians being criminals and bringing criminals. But I saw a government that was very interested to address the issue with dignity and respect for the Albanian people, and to move forward concretely by first putting Albania in the countries of safe origin, tightening up the system of applications, and practically ending that moment of somehow turbulence in the most dignified and in the most respectful way. So instead of fueling a crazy narrative of invaders and gangsters to cover up for totally failed policies on borders and on crime, the British representatives need to come to Germany and learn quick and fix their own problems. We are not here in Albania to fix the problems they have in Britain. And secondly, I have to remind that our people, until they reach France, they are totally legal. So if there is a problem in the channel between France and Britain, they have to work with each other and to find a way to solve it. I know Brexit has made it more difficult, but this was a decision of the British people, not of the Albanian or of the French people. And at the end, we are very much happy to cooperate, to do whatever we can on our side, but we'll never ever accept this kind of rhetoric. Albanians in Britain are a great community, fully integrated. 70% of them, and they are not millions, they are just 140,000. And for 140,000 people of another community, Germany would not even count, just to be concrete. 70% of them left Greece and left Italy and didn't leave Albania. So there are 1,200 business leaders, Albanians. There are very well-respected academics and so on and so further. And when it comes to criminals in the British jails, the number is less than 1%. So to single out the community and to talk about gangsters and about criminals doesn't sound really something that is very British. Sounds more like screams from a madhouse.
Anila Schuka, Deutsche Welle. Eine Frage an Bundeskanzler Scholz. Sie sagten heute, die Konflikte in der Balkanregion sollten beseitigt werden, auch angesichts der Zeitenwende. Sie haben vor kurzem, Deutschland und Frankreich hat einen Vorschlag vorgelegt für die Lösung der Kosovo-Frage, also des Normalisierungsdialogs zwischen Serbien und Kosovo. Die Frage ist, wie dringlich ist ein Abkommen Ihrer Meinung nach zwischen Kosovo und Serbien und wann rechnen Sie damit? Und wenn wir noch Zeit haben für eine kurze Frage, eigentlich an drei Beteiligten. Gestern auf dem Civil Society Forum wurde der Wunsch geäußert, dass man auch einen Zeitplan für die Erweiterung hat. Wie realistisch und wünschenswert ist das?
Schönen Dank für die Frage. Es ist richtig, dass wir die bilateralen Konflikte, die es zwischen den Staaten des westlichen Balkans gibt, überwinden müssen. Und deshalb ist es gut, wenn Gespräche stattfinden, um das zu schaffen. Wir haben jetzt in diesem Jahr schon große Fortschritte erreicht, etwa was die Debatte zwischen Bulgarien und Nordmazedonien betrifft. Die Präsidentin hat bereits von einem Ergebnis dieses Gesprächsfortschritts berichtet, nämlich den Prozessen, die jetzt stattgefunden haben mit Albanien und auch Nordmazedonien im Hinblick auf den EU-Beitritt. Und selbstverständlich gilt für Serbien und Kosovo, dass auch dort eine Verständigung gelingen muss. Wir, die französische Regierung und die Europäische Kommission bemühen uns sehr, das möglich zu machen. Dazu sind wir auch sehr aktiv im Gespräch mit den beiden und wir hoffen, dass es sehr bald zu einem Prozess kommt, wo sich die beiden Regierungen weiter bewegen und es eine Verständigung gelingt. Das ist etwas, das mit Geduld und gleichzeitig großer Kraft vorankommen muss. Und hoffentlich sehen wir bald Ergebnisse. Was die Erweiterung betrifft, wird, glaube ich, am besten die Kommissionspräsidentin antworten. Ich will nur sagen, so schnell wie möglich soll das gelingen. Die Beschlüsse von Thessaloniki sind jetzt 19 Jahre her. Niemand hat damals gedacht, dass es 20 Jahre dauern würde. Deshalb muss es jetzt schnell sein.
Yes, thank you very much. So first of all, from the European Commission side, I want to emphasize that there's full support for the Franco-German proposal. And we integrate that in the dialogue that is so necessary. So we call on both sides to move forward on that, because this is a bridge that is being built to solve a problem that can be solved, but that is in the way of a speedier accession process for the region. What the timetable is concerned, the accession process is completely merits-based. So there is no rigid timetable, and that's good. The better a country performs in its own interest with investment and reforms, the faster the process goes. But we also have, of course, the other way around, that with non-implementation, for example, from reforms or not undergoing reforms, we see a slowing down of the process. The modernized methodology has as a purpose to speed up the process if there is the willingness to really work hard, for example, on the general questions of the rule of law and the principal values of the European Union. So it gives the opportunity, compared to former times, to really speed up the process. And at the moment being, I must say, we feel a wind of change going through Europe because of the geopolitical situation. It is of utmost importance to push forward the accession process of the Western Balkans, and here we share the same attitude. We want our friends to be in the European Union.
I must say, first of all, that the new German and French plan offered to Serbia and Kosovo is really a great opportunity, not just for Serbia and Kosovo, but for the region, for Europe. And I very much hope that both sides will take it very seriously, and both sides will understand that it's time to see it also as an important contribution to the whole European architecture of security. On the other hand, when it comes to enlargement, I'm the worst person to be asked, but in general. But in this case, I want to say that independently from how the enlargement will go, we are now in a completely different level of cooperation with the European Union, and this today is one of the examples. There are other regional initiatives that are important. There is also the continuous path of common summits between the European Union and the Western Balkans. There is a new political community, so the space of dialogue, of cooperation, of mutual understanding and mutual efforts has increased, has been enlarged a lot. Of course, we need to do our own homework to get in the European Union. This will not change, and this should not change, because the work needed to become a full member is, first of all, a work that improves our own performance and makes our states functioning democracies at their best. So we don't need discounts, and we are not going to ask for discounts. And finally, I want to say that the Berlin process has proven itself so good and so efficient when it comes to the political understanding and when it comes to strengthening this sense of belonging to the same space, being named European Union or being named just Europe. And now it's time to push, to make it more consistent, more concrete, also to try and give common answers to questions like brain drain, to questions like better wages, to questions like better quality of life, and so on and so further, because Germany and the big rich countries of Europe will continue to be attractive for our people, as they are for many people, and we can't change that by telling them to regress. We have to run and to progress as much as we can with their help, and the sensation I have is that there is really a strong will to help. So we can't ask for more. Thank you very much, Chancellor. Thank you, Ursula. And let me finish by saying, when we had the signatures, we were 4 Albanians, 2 Germans, and some others. Now there are 2 Germans, 1 Albanian. So Albanians should really understand that we have never, ever been better than today. Of course, there is better in the future.
If you like, I will show the picture on the TV. Nun zum 3. Mal unter deutscher Gastgeberschaft statt. Es freut mich, dass wir heute Albanien mit Ministerpräsident Rama präsentieren. Die Entwicklung des westlichen